Mountain, Island, Lightning Bolt, Spell Pierce, Switchblade, Stab Wound, Red Mage, Blue Mage. Hey, what's up?
Nothing.
What you thinking about?
Nothing.
What you want to talk about?
These 2 eggs I have in this box over here.
Enough about your eggs.
These are cooked. These are hard boiled. They were pushed into a box. They're kind of disfigured. What's another word for smushed?
I was going to say smushed.
They're kind of smushied. I'm squishing them.
They're kind of serving as metaphors for the twin dragons.
Wow. One is smaller than the other, too. I'm going to call
it's like Nicole.
I'm going to name it Nicole. And I'm going to name this one Ugin. And I'm licking Ugin.
You should name it Eggin.
No. I want to eat this egg really bad.
Just do it.
It's real.
Okay,
it's real. I am actually holding eggs, and I'm letting you hear it.
This is no bullshit. She is actually masticating right now. Egg debris is falling from her gaping maw.
They are, yeah, it's delicious. Anyway. I ate Ugin.
Red Mage, Blue Mage.
Oh, yeah. Red Mage, Blue Mage. This is not an egg podcast.
No.
Unfortunately.
It's a Magic the Gathering podcast.
I'm sad that it isn't about eggs. But anyway.
The show's hosted by me, Kenny, who plays blue cards.
Oh, yeah. And also me, Amber, who eats eggs.
And we are in the final chapter of the epic saga, Chronicle of Bolas the Twins by Kate Elliott.
Yeah.
Did you figure out where we left off?
Yes, because it was like this really epic ending where he was like, I am not afraid of the hunters, he says, sure that the sun fears nothing.
Oh, yes, that's right. Okay, so
the sun fears nothing. Command F
fears
that
nothing.
shit.
Fears was enough.
There's only one fears?
Yes.
In the entire thing?
Because he doesn't fear anything. He doesn't have to say it very often.
Okay, or think it.
Okay, so our plan here is you will continue the dramatic reading of the vision.
Yes. There's not much left to it, to be quite honest. And there's actually not much left of the actual story after it as well. So I'll read slow.
We have to discuss this entire story.
Oh, okay. Do you think that's going to take much time?
I don't know. Probably not.
Okay. Well, we'll see what happens. I'll still read slow.
Okay.
If I can.
And just to recap very briefly, we have twins in Tarkir, hunter, and a shaman, seer.
Humans.
And they went out. They got attacked by goblins and also ice people. And do the ice people have mandibles? Because that's all I'm remembering is mandibles. Sure. Okay. You can have your mandibles.
So they're praying mantis ice ancestors. And they get back to Tent Town. Well, yes. It was destroyed by an avalanche.
Only the tents scrambled to safety.
And they're talking with their grandma. And the grandma's like, I have a vision to show you. And then she took one or both, not sure, can't remember, doesn't matter. Anyway, we're knee-deep in vision right now, so...
A vision of the elder dragons descending on the world.
Yeah, like eggs were a very prominent part of this.
Eggs were a big part. And then the twin dragons came down together. They're weak.
Babies, yeah.
And they watched a big baby get attacked by humans.
And dogs. Killed. Don't forget the dogs. And then, yeah, because they spent like most of that time just trapped in a single branch of tree.
Nicole Bolas did, yeah.
Yeah, like he was just laying there like, and Ugin's like, just move your leg, you ass.
And then Nicole Bolas said, the sun fears nothing.
Yeah, I'm going to eat these hunters one day. I came into this world, saw them rip my dragon sister into pieces, and I said, fuck this. I got shit to prove. And here we are. So his last line, I'm not afraid of the hunters, he says, sure that
God.
the sun fears nothing. This is his new voice for Nicole Waltz. All right, okay. All right, you ready?
Yep.
Of course you aren't. I'm not. Ugin is young, but clever. He sees that to argue will gain him nothing. Come, Nicole. I'm going to say it like that forever. Let us climb to the top of the peak and see if we can spot our siblings. Nicole is not going to admit he did not notice any dragons except Marivia Sol. But more than that, he despises running away like a fear-struck weakling.
Okay.
Yet the dogs have started barking with the fierce yaps that mean they have caught a new scent. Yep, that's exactly what. This is how I bark. Yep, 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 yep. That's how dogs bark in this world. The hunters are puny, true, and their sister killed 5 of them already, but they've proven they can work together to accomplish a task that would be impossible for anyone alone. Which way? Up. Ugin takes an awkward running start and jumps with a flap of wings, then thuds down to the ground. Useless. It would have been funny if they weren't about to be set upon by emboldened killers.
These lines.
Yeah, I know. I can do it, says Nicole.
I can do it.
I can do it, says Nicole. The chorus of frantic barking intensifies as several dogs race into the clearing. A kick of adrenaline, is that a typo I see? Does adrenaline need an E? Surges through him. He leaps forward onto the lead dog and rips its head off with a single bite.
Whoa.
Salty blood saturates his mouth.
Why is it so sexy?
Because it's got a mouthful of blood. Isn't that hot as hell? He chomps several times and swallows.
Okay, now I'm kind of getting it.
It would taste better if he could savor it, but teeth nip at his flanks. Ooh, as other dogs race around him, snapping. Nicole, they're coming! Only cowards run. Only fools mistake prudence for cowardice. This is Ugin's voice now.
Oh.
Cowardice! Annoyed because Ugin is right, Nicole swipes with a claw and a big old circle,
Just
driving back the dogs. More break through the bushes at the clearing's edge. The hunters' voices are getting louder. When he pushes off with his rear legs and flaps his wings, he rises faster than expected. Even so, he's still awkward. His lower clawed feet brush across the pointed crowns of fir trees. Ooh, it tickles. He barely flies out of the clearing without getting tangled in the trees again. Nicole's
He's clumsy.
biggest weakness is trees. But he is out, away from the hunters, some of whom have now run into the clearing. They stare up after him, no doubt in awe. Damn, son. As he rises above the forest, he starts flying toward the peak. He looks back, suddenly worried. Ugin has vanished. It's such a funny thing to me to imagine him like flying up and then looking back and it's like, huh? My brother's gone.
And then
Over here! His twin has passed him already. They race the summit and land in a welter of wings.
ooh, that's a $10 word.
Yeah, welter. It's only 6 letters. Nicole wipes blood from his muzzle onto his forelegs. The blood is already cooling and congealing, but the pound of his heart is still going strong. How easy it was to rip the animal's head from its neck. It's a dog!
You're a dragon.
You're a fucking dragon. He could have torn through all the dogs because their teeth can't penetrate his scales.
What? What is this?
It is the hunters who are dangerous with their weapons and the way they work together to achieve something they cannot do alone. Oh, call back, hunters do things together. Nicole and Ugin are going to do things together. They're on even footing now. Then he sees the nearest impact crater. Remember those that are like scatter the mountainside? And inside it, the body of a dragon, much larger than either he or Ugin. It did not survive the fall. Which death is worse, he asked, never to waken or to waken and live your few moments in a frenzy of fear and fighting? I can tell you, never to waken.
That's easy.
Duh, fuck. What are you talking about?
No, that's not worse.
Yeah, it's, no. Oh yeah, that's better, never to waken.
Yeah.
I misunderstood
obviously.
the question. Ugin does not reply. He stares all around at the landscape. The world is not new, but they are new, like infants whose eyes cannot fully understand what they see. Green forest, yellow-green grassy plains, the silver threads of rivers widening their way across a wide plateau. All sorts of creatures wander this wide world. Everything waits to be discovered. Ugin shifts his gaze upward and for the longest time stares at the heavens above. Where did we come from? He asks. Where did our progenitor go? What lies beyond the sky? He's
Trying a little Shatner now.
Yeah. I see one.
What lies?
I see one, calls a dragon, swooping low over a herd of animals. It's exhilarating to watch the prey scatter in fear. The dragon snatches a running beast with such grace and power. The yapping still sounds from below as the dogs find the forest debris where he and Ugin landed. When he thinks of the dead sister, he wants to tear all the hunters and dogs to pieces. But maybe the fault doesn't lie with them. They just took the opportunity to get something they wanted. Maybe the fault lies with the dragons who didn't survive. That's right. He can still hear the death howl of Marivia. Dying isn't wonderful. It's bad. But being the hunter, that's a better thing. He climbs to an outcropping that will allow him to drop into an updraft. He's already getting a sense for this world, for the way invisible winds and currents can help you find your path. Before he launches, he halts, feeling the lack of his twin's presence, and turns back. Ugin hasn't moved. He's still staring dreamily at the landscape. Oh, the hills. Oh, the trees. What do you call this? I should call it a rock. You fool, says Bolus. We have to keep up with the others. Warn them about the hunters. Learn how to find our revenge. Hurry! Ugin turns a calm gaze toward Nicole. His eyes are like crystals with depths that give way to mysteries. He says, someone is looking for you, Yasova Dragonclaw. Come to me.
So that name, Yasova Dragon, this is the end of the vision, by the way.
Yes.
Yasova Dragonclaw is the name that started this whole vision.
Yeah, somebody they weren't supposed to talk about, right?
Right.
Whatever, it doesn't matter. Keep going.
Okay. Scrolling down. Okay.
We're coming out of
Exactly. A shout of warning broke through Baisha's raspy voice. She said all of that, I guess.
What?
A shout of warning broke through Baisha's raspy voice. Baisha blinked wildly, swayed as the vision left her, and collapsed into Grandmother's strong arms. Grandmother's jacked.
Grandma's jacked. Hell yeah.
Naiva grabbed her spear and ran for the edge of the trees. 3 dragons had landed at the edge of the makeshift camp. They were Atarka's broodlings, with stocky bodies and antlered crests. The 2 big ones huffed threatening curls of flame. But like most of Atarka's brood, they hadn't much in the way of a mind to think with. The smallest, however, had a look of cunning in its fiery eyes. It spoke only dragon speech, expecting them to understand.
Translated, that says, "We smell magic in the air. Surrender your shamans to us, or we will kill you all."
Naiva's pulse raced, and her mouth went dry. She tightened a hand on her spear as she exchanged glances with the uninjured hunters, all of whom stood, like her, with spears held upright at their side. Meant to look unthreatening, they could defend at a moment's notice. And yet to defend meant attacking the dragons, and such an attack would cause a war between Atarka and the clan. The humans could not win this war. That's what Grandmother had understood 18 years ago. Was it better to die fighting or to live cringing? Kind of like a echo.
Yeah, Maybe you should just go to sleep and never wake up.
What heralds have approached this humble band? Grandmother emerged alone from the trees. She carried no weapon other than her arms. The dragon claws... That's not there.
I know. Also, you didn't do a grandma voice.
Is that... I don't know. Is that who's speaking there?
Yeah.
What heralds have approached this humble band?
I don't care, and I love it anyway. Go ahead.
Grandmother emerged alone from the trees. She carried no weapon other than her jacked arms. The dragon claw staff that had once announced her position as clan chief had been hidden deep in a secret cave, guarded by concealed whisperers. A fake one had been carved and given to Atarka to destroy, but Grandmother was weapon enough in her own presence. See? Told you.
Yeah, those jacked arms.
If she feared anything, Niva had yet to learn what it was. I am Yasova, first mother of this hunting band. Do you have a name, honored broodling? The broodling spat a tongue of flame harmlessly onto the ground. Pleh. A big snowfall tore the ice and snow off the mountain. How are you not dead in the snowfall? Torn apart like the trees. We smelled the foul odor of magic. This work is forbidden to you by order of Dragon Lord Atarka. Grandmother gestured towards the firs standing straight and tall behind them. We camped upon this hill, she lied.
It's cadence.
For anyone who knew anything about camps or had half a brain could see there was no sign of fire pits and temporary shelters. The avalanche and flood passed below us. We ask your permission to continue our journey. The dragon blinked once, and then a second time, as thoughts crawled across its slow mind. I have to retake that
that's
line.
fine.
Fuck! He just opened and closed it!
You should have a be-real of all the times we yell at Keith.
God damn it. When we do a stream, we'll have to have a counter.
Mm-hmm.
Is it safe? It's never safe. It's better to live in fear of a garage door or to just kill Keith.
Kill Keith.
The dragon blinked once, and then a second time as thoughts crawled across its slow mind. Where do you go? They had been planning to stay a full cycle of the moon in the verdant valley before returning toward Iagor, so Niva was surprised at Grandmother's next words. We have been assigned by our hunt caller to patrol the eastern range of the Kalsisma against the incursion of enemy clans. We like to keep traveling while there is still daylight. For your trouble, and out of respect, we have gathered a little snack for you.
Poor goblins.
She caught Niva's eye and lifted her chin in the direction of the net. With the help of one of the other hunters, Niva dragged it forward and shook out the corpses onto the rocky slope. The two big dragons snuffled eagerly, looking toward their leader for permission to eat. Even the small one was distracted by the offering of an unexpected treat. They were a greedy lot, and their hunger was their frailty. As they tore into the goblins, Grandmother drew everyone back into the shelter of the trees. Make ready to move, she said. Make ready to move, she said.
Yeah, there it is.
The injured who cannot move must remain here with supplies until we can return for them.
What? She sings song.
Where are we really going? Asked Niva. Grandmother gave her an impatient look. You should already know. Niva's cheeks flamed with humiliation. Fingers brushed her sleeve, and she turned to find Bishop beside her, face flushed as with a fever. Didn't you hear, Nye? The vision was passed to me by the Windfolk, but it didn't come from them. Who did it come from? From Ugin, the spirit dragon. Ugin is dead. Grandmother was there and saw him die. She's told us that story 100 times. Yes, that's why we have to go to Ugin's grave. We must find out what his vision portends. The end.
Okay, first question.
Yeah.
Ugin's dead, but she said, Ugin, the spirit dragon. And then she's like, Ugin's dead! And it's like, you idiot! He's a spirit dragon! She just said that! He's a magic man!
Also, earlier today, you just talked with ghosts, with mandibles.
For fucking real. You just, for 3 hours, your sister was laying on the ground, drooling at the mouth, eyes rolled back into her head as, like, tomb words told a story through her in all sorts of different voices and dragon speak. There's magic, man!
Ugin's dead.
Well,
this is like that treatment that we just watched of the last Star Wars movie that author made up, where they're like, you can't be alive. Why not? All kinds of crazy shit happens in this world.
Yeah, for real. And my other thing is, like, it's so funny to me how they have tried to establish why Nicole is like why he is the way he is, kind of.
Yeah.
But it's also like, so their personalities and what they are kind of already established while they're in the dragon egg, right?
I mean, it seems like they come out of the egg and they are who they are.
Right. But this is showing that, I guess, your personality kind of dictates how you handle situations you're put into, I guess. But imagine if they showed up at like a birthday party, not being chased by hunters, but instead there was like a giant cake and it was like a tea party. Would Nicole Bolas still be like, tea is for weak, elderly grandmas, and they deserve to die?
No, he would have shown up and been like, all cake and tea belongs to mighty dragons, not to you little... Look how much bigger I am than you puny creatures. Give me the cake as tribute.
You think so?
I don't know. I tell you what. Something that I do like the idea that in this primordial time, some initial event kind of seeded who Bolas and Ugin were.
Yeah.
I don't mind that. It's kind of like, I was trying to think of an example while we were reading it, and it's like, like Batman, like his parents being murdered in front of him by a criminal. Like, this is like a formative event that shapes his entire person and his entire character.
But, I have a problem with it, right? Like, we have so many stories. I know, okay, so we're obviously jumping into, like, analyzing and picking apart this story and stuff or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's the same issue I have with, like, why people spark. It's like, it's always has to be some sort of traumatic moment or, like, something traumatizing that changes a person. But does it, like, I know it happens, but it's such a played out thing in all these fantasy stories that I'm kind of, like, over it. And I'm more interested in different takes on stuff. And this feels very much like trying to build a backstory when I really didn't care about the backstory.
Yes, this to me is... I'll make two Star Wars analogies here.
Okay.
One is like, Vader is a character. Mm-hmm. We don't need his backstory. We don't need to know why he became evil.
Right.
He is just evil, right? But I think even more with Nicole Bolas is more like the Emperor.
Yeah.
Like, he is just comically and hilariously evil and just wants all the power in the world. And it's great. I love it. That's why I like Nicole Bolas. He's just like, I want all the power. I want to be king of everything forever. Sure.
What is wrong with Keith? I'm going to start sending him dead animals in the mail.
He'll put him on my side on the fucking rocks.
And then I'll say, happy birthday, Kenny. So the Emperor. He wants everything. Nicole Bolas is that way.
Yeah, he wants to be king forever. It would ruin the Emperor to go back and tell his backstory.
Spoiler, if you haven't watched Rise of Skywalker, don't come back later, but I'm going to drop some mad spoils if you haven't already watched it, so get ready. Spoilers. So, yeah, it's like now that we've got the end of Rise of Skywalker, and we know that Rey is a Palpatine, are we going to have a fun, Solo-esque movie where we get to learn about how the Emperor became evil and how he fucked to make children who made his granddaughter? So just a lot of Palpatine fucking. Do we need that? Like, I feel like this story, to me, is something I would write for to be funny. To be like, oh yeah, to 100% just be like hilariously funny, not to be taken seriously. But it doesn't really. It's not. It's trying to be serious, right?
Yeah.
And again, sorry, author who wrote this. I know you're probably given like a thing to write.
Well, that's my thought with these. Is like, I bet, like, because they crank these out every week for a long time. I bet somebody's just like, we need this story. It has to do this. You have to fill it out. You have to do like 10,000 words, go.
Right.
Or however many words it is.
And to me, this is like, yeah, it's trying to put. I don't care how Nicole Bolas like saw his sister get torn to pieces by dogs, and his mouth filled with dog blood. And he's like, "Oh, it was so good. It was so easy to eat that dog's head. Me, a dragon. I ate that dog's head so easily, and it can't even get to me because it has weak baby teeth that can't get through my scales. I'm so horny right now for myself.
I'm so hard.
I'm so rock dragon hard for myself." That's what I read from that. I'm an edgelord. Well, my belly's full of dog blood now. It's gonna be full of hunter. I'm gonna become the sun. See that
I'm gonna be the sun, and I'm gonna eat all the dogs.
So I should write my fanfic off of this fanfic and just make it even more ridiculous, because honestly, this is inspiring to me in the sense that it could have been hilarious.
If you'd cranked it up more, you would go past like, this is kind of bad, to this is hilarious.
And like good hilarious.
Right.
Like stuff that it's like obviously parody, obviously satire, and when I think of Nicole Bolas, that's what I want, because he's such a fucking comical, like you said, super villain, like a comic book super villain. He's just ridiculous.
He is, yeah.
But they're trying to take him so seriously and like try to make this like, this is why he is the way he is. I mean, he is the way he is because that's how he was born, but it was really pounded into him when he saw all this. Like, and Ugin obviously just entranced by the fucking Moors of Tarkir or something.
Yeah. Or wherever they are. Yeah, I don't like... One big problem I have with this story, and maybe this is a bigger problem with this format where every week they were telling a story, is this isn't a story that feels like it has a satisfying beginning, middle, and end.
Right.
Like, what is the conflict of this story?
Nothing.
There is none. In fact, almost half of it is a flashback.
Yeah.
To something that has no impact on what's happening in this story. Like, the action of this story is there's an avalanche, they catch some goblins, some dragons come and they give them the goblins. That's what happened in this story.
Yeah.
It's not very compelling. So I'll tell you something else I've been thinking about. Lots of people are kind of bemoaning the direction the Magic story has gone in recently, and rightly so. You know, the Gary Weissman horrible novelizations of War of the Spark and whatnot. And they're like, why can't we go back to having a story every week? These are what you get out of the stories.
Yeah, I mean, it's
not amazing.
Let me just write. I'll just write it.
Well, I was going to say, like,
I start writing stuff.
I think honestly, it makes me mad how many talented people in the world, and we have to put up with bad storytelling at such a grand scale.
Well, it's okay. So you say that it's pretty easy to just be kind of like the right word, glib about it. Where it's like, I know how in my business shit gets done, you know, in
Sure.
my corporate day job. And
this does come out of a company, yeah.
And this does come out of a company, and it's coming from people who are making business decisions and trying to make money, and sometimes it's misguided, and sometimes it's several people trying to decide what to do, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, we don't have the time, who's available right now? Okay, go, you know, and
right.
I know firsthand how that goes, and you would have to have somebody who
has a vision,
and is dedicated, and like this is their whole role is literally, we are going to have this kind of story, like you have art directors, right? So you would have like the creative directors who are overseeing this, but then also you don't have anybody coming in outside of the wheelhouse and going, hey, actually, you know what's really good? you know how well Lord of the Rings did? Well, you know The Hobbit, where you have a different vision that's actually really cool and creative? No, Lord of the Rings made money, so we're going to turn The Hobbit into a 3-part series just like Lord of the Rings and fuck it all up because they...
And also, people really liked that Lord of the Rings, so this needs to be epic, and even though that's not really the tone of The Hobbit that you're going for right here.
Yeah, exactly. And that's such a problem because ultimately it's corporation, business, people making decisions and not wanting to take a risk because the past it worked fine and we made money, so we're going to keep doing it because it's safe. You know, they kind of talk about that in R&D too, right? When they're designing cards, like there's a safe way and then there's like, you know, trying to be experimental and stuff.
But it puzzles me because R&D is so happy to be like, we're going to push the envelope.
Yeah.
I'm not even, I guess that's my big problem. I am not asking for magic stories to push the envelope. I mean, it'd be nice if they did, like, and did something more experimental. But I'm just asking for like a decent story, like something very basic.
Would you read a magic novel? I mean, I have. A long time ago.
If it was good. I haven't read any of them.
I read the God, It's Been So Long Morningtide one, and then oh God, It's Been So Long, I can't remember. But yeah.
I'd be interested in going back and reading the Mirrodin ones. We've mentioned that a few times. That was the story that felt the most like classic kind of fantasy, even though it was in such a weird world, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. I have a... now that you've introduced me to like these magic story stuff, I will probably end up taking lunch breaks and reading through some stories and stuff to see what exists.
Okay.
Because I would love to know more about magic lore and stuff, and this is considered canon stuff, right? Like this is the world.
Yeah. I would love when you do wind up exploring that, I would love to read a good one.
Yes. I know people have probably put out, I think the professor actually talked about several stories or authors that he liked who wrote some for the website.
We'll have to see. I honestly don't know what the professor's taste is in.
Well, at least we know what bad is, so we stand
very true
on the same ground there. So
true.
I don't know. I don't want to be that person to be like, oh, I could write a Magic the Gathering story. I'm not a writer. Like, I don't actually, like, want to be or, like, aspire to be a writer. But most of the time, I'm just writing to amuse myself. So
I agree. But at the same time, not being an expert in something doesn't mean you can never criticize work produced by somebody.
Oh, I know. I'm just talking about how, like, I look at this and I'm like, what I would have done differently to make this a more compelling story. There's good parts to it. I really enjoyed the flashback. That was a fun the
description of the eggs and the genesis of the dragons.
Yeah,
yes,
that was really good. I really enjoyed the whole flashback, really, except for the silly thing about the dog teeth. But you know,
it felt kind of biblical to me. Like this, it felt sort of like Cain and Abel-esque. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Where it's this primordial event that just shapes all of the future.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was stuff in there that was good. It's quite the yawn.
Well.
Should we wrap up?
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm too busy staring at the mountainside, and my eyes are like crystals right now and filled with mystery.
Just like you. Meanwhile, I will eat the sun and shit it out.
I think we got this backwards.
We did. I'm supposed to be pondering.
Yeah, you're supposed to be pondering, and I'm supposed to be eating dogs. And thinking about how hard I am from the dog blood. So I wipe it off with my forearms.
Oh, I got some congealed blood on my foreclaw.
Shit, yeah, I'm going to eat some more easy prey later, because it makes me feel big and strong and mighty, like the sun.
All right. Well, this concludes our 3-part reading of Chronicles of Bolas the Twins. We're Red Mage Blue Mage. If you want to email us, please send us magic stories that you thought are good or hilariously terrible. You can send them to redmagebluemage@geekspective.com. We're also at redbluemtg. I'm at Wolfmere on Twitter.
I'm at Rocket Orca.
And until next time, I'll be gazing at the heavens with my crystal eyes.
And I am going to destroy the sun because I'm more powerful than it. And also, I'm full of dog blood. Don't forget that.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.